I guess the first thing is it's going to seem strange without James Ward-Prowse this weekend. We're all presuming he's not going to be around, of course, and he's off to West Ham. So you've only been 6 weeks. Some of us have been working with him for a decade plus. So difficult one for fans to stomach in a way.
Yeah, I think a difficult one for Prowse as well, I think. So, having only worked with him for 6 weeks, I've been immensely impressed with him as a character and as a professional and as a person, and as a player, obviously, that goes without saying. So we had a really good chat on Wednesday. He's really emotional about leaving this club, which shows you how much he cares and how difficult it will be for him if it all goes through. And I think he would have really liked it to end on a different way than the club being, if it was ever going to happen, the club being in the Championship. So he's obviously been torn to want to be here and help get the club back to the Premier League, but also has real personal ambition to be in the Premier League, to force himself into the England squad, to break some records in the Premier League. So I think he leaves here, and I'm talking about inside the club, with incredible legacy in terms of the relationships he has with people and how everyone feels about him. And I think when you're a professional player or coach or person or whatever, the most important legacy is how people feel about you when you leave. I think how they feel about how you treated them, how you worked, and he's been here since he was 8 years old. So, and I don't think one person has got a bad word to say about him, which I think is testament to who he is and what he is. So we will miss him on the pitch. We will miss him off the pitch. But we have other guys who need to be ready to step up now and take the mantle. And we need to find the next one. And he's a brilliant example. And so many of the young guys here we have that have come through the academy, Nathan, Jack, Will, they're brilliant professionals as well. Real credit to the club and themselves. So yeah, the situation is what it is with Prowse. We hope to be having someone else come the other way as part of the deal. And he goes here with nothing but praise from us and everyone, and no one would ever want him to wish him any unwell or everyone. He'll leave here with everyone's best wishes, and everyone really, really sad but pleased for him. And it will take some time for him to adjust as well. It's a big change in his life, not just on the pitch, off the pitch, everything about it. So it's a big change, a big moment for the club, but it's one we have to make sure doesn't affect what we've set out to do. And I know he'll be supporting from afar if everything goes through.
You just said there about we've got to find the next one, as in the next sort of James Ward-Prowse. But what that really means immediately is football is very much the king is dead, long live the king, and everyone's got to get their head past that and get into the Norwich game. A lot of tickets sold. It needs to be a great day. I mean, the Gillingham thing took a bit of sparkle off Wednesday, the Prowse going, but everyone does need to get now behind the side that are there, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. And that side, there's going to be some changes again in the next 3 weeks. I have no doubt about that. With the transfer window, and so yeah, we've been open and honest with everyone since we've been here. I don't think that will change, and we've also been open and ready to change and to be adaptable. So it's been an interesting week, isn't it? It's football, right? So you go from Friday and the high of that, and then Tuesday the frustration of that, and then Prowse Wednesday. So the players and the staff had a couple of days to digest it, and yeah, we'll see where that goes and where that ends up. But the rest of it, the lads have trained brilliantly, like really, really well. Really been impressed with the training on Wednesday. The two groups training today, really impressed. The feel about it, it's been nice, and we have to try and keep building that and build some momentum in the league. We started off really, really well. Tuesday is what it is. I was frustrated and annoyed on the night, but I've not lost any sleep over that, to be honest. We analysed it, we reviewed it like we would any game. And I think we made it really clear to the players as well what was the problem was, and hopefully we can avoid a repeat of that at any point. But yeah, tomorrow we are at home. We're playing against a team that will fancy themselves to be up and amongst it. Well, the supporters will definitely expect that, because every time they're in this division they expect that. And it's a really exciting day for us. Our first league game at St Mary's. It's going to be huge. A huge crowd, which is great, and The guys need to show what they did last Friday, and what they've shown us all pre-season is the willingness to play in the way that we want to play, and hopefully, feel good, make everyone feel good or better than they do now after the Prowse news and stuff. Saturday, well, it'll be 6 o'clock with all the added time. You used to say 5 o'clock, but it'll be 6, won't it?
Well, go on then. While you're talking about added time, tell me what you've made of that after the first week of the season, because it seems a little bit crazy in some games. I watched the Sunderland-Ipswich game. I think there was 13 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, so
I mean, what do you make of it as a
I
manager?
think there's a balance to be had, isn't there? Well, it was. It's been frustrating the last few years at times when teams time waste, and so you want to see that punished or made up for. But it's going to put a big load on the players. You know, I saw seeing some of the stuff that come out through the PFA this week through various players, and I tend to agree with them. It's a very hectic schedule anyway. This is going to. I think they've averaged it out between 6 and 8 games extra a season with when you add up all the minutes. So we have to be aware of that as well in terms of training and how we train and how long we train for. And
surely they have to find a happy medium, perhaps reel it in a bit from
where I think so. Yeah, they've gone all out with this one, and then I'm sure there'll be a balance to be had at some point. But yeah, it's the ball in play stuff will help us. So having multiple in the Championship makes it much more exciting for supporters. It helps a team that wants to dominate the ball, I think. So we need to make sure it helps us. The rest of it, I don't know. There'll be but I think there needed to be something doing when you go to some games. The ball was in play for 40 minutes out of 90 or whatever. That's a problem.
Norwich, a club close to your heart, of course, but a big association. They're very popular there.
Not sure about that, but spent a long time there.
Cafu, yeah, we'll say that. You're going to be applauded by both sets of fans, but of course you've got a job to do. And you beat David Wagner's Norwich well in the spring at Carrow Road with Swansea. So what do we expect from a David Wagner Norwich side, do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll be very different to what they were at the end of the last season. I think having watched them over pre-season and in last week's game, hungry to right a few wrongs of last season, probably some new players that have helped them, some experienced players in the league that have really helped them, given them an edge. They're aggressive, they're difficult to play against, they can do both sides of the game pretty well, in possession, out possession, so it'll be a really tough game. I think it's a brilliant challenge for us, but the challenge is that we want to win and we want to be the team we want to be, and that will be whoever we play against. So it happens to be Norwich tomorrow, so the challenge is clear for the players and for us. And I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a good game. It's a good club. It's a brilliant club. We spent a long time there and absolutely loved it. But that chapter is well and truly closed. So I really want to win tomorrow, as I did when we went there in the spring. And hopefully we can do that.
Final question from me. Who is competing to replace James? I mean, you've got Shay Charles, you've got possibly Stewie. You've got how hard a decision is that for you to get that mix right without him to replace those skills?
There's a few. We have some good options in there, right? So not everyone is fully fit yet, but I think Stewie Armstrong in the games he's come on has been outstanding. I think Shay Charles after 90 minutes in a really good place as well, because Will can play higher up the pitch and did in pre-season a little bit and did really, really well. So yeah, we have some options. Joe Aribo's coming back to full fitness. We can drop Adam Armstrong back there. Played there a lot in pre-season for us. So we have some flexibility. So whoever we put there tomorrow will be happy with they know the role first and foremost, and can deliver a good performance in it. So we're comfortable with that. Of course, I'm not going to lie, we would have loved it to be in Prowse, but it's not going to be. But we're comfortable with whoever steps in there. We have some really good players, really talented players, and as I said, whenever someone leaves or gets injured, it always creates an opportunity for someone else, and it's up to them to take it.
Sorry, one more. Romeo Lavia, how is he? I mean, he's been tossed about between clubs in the media. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, obviously, but he's only 19. I think it's unnerving for him. How is he?
Yeah, it's not easy. He trained really well today. So, he's not had enough minutes in pre-season. I don't think I'd ask him to start a game after the minutes he's had and everything that's going on. I think in these situations, you think back to yourself when you're 19 years old, and how would you cope with that? But he's been great. He's been great. Some days better, much better than others. But there's been so much noise. He's a really top lad, really top player. So it will be resolved fairly soon, I'm pretty sure. That with the Romeo situation, it's been fluid all the way through, and it will remain that. And obviously, there's other stuff going on in the market that might influence all of that. We have no control over it. But Romeo is he's getting fitter and fitter. Trained really well today. Whether he'll be in the squad or not, I just don't know. So I can't give you an answer on that right now.
Thank you.
changed on Harris? So, you said last week that your team changed twice in the week before the match. Has it been more or less than that this week?
Well, probably the Prowse one was the only real thing to contend with and have to deal with. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't change again overnight. But no, we're really clear on the game plan, on what the game needs, on what we think it needs, on what we need to improve on from Friday and definitely from Tuesday. So yeah, no, we're excited about it.
You mentioned a player possibly coming in as part of that deal. Is that going to be a loan or something that could be more permanent?
Yeah, I think it'll be a loan. Yeah. There might be things in there that maybe address that side of it, but I think it'll be a loan first and foremost. Yeah.
How quickly are you expecting incomings and outgoings to be completed over the next sort of week? Is there anything that is close, or do we know about James Ward-Prowse?
I don't think so. I don't chatting to Jason, he keeps at the top of everything, and I don't think anything's that close that it's going to affect the squad or affect the group at the moment. Fortunately, we have no midweek game, so hopefully it won't affect anything too much. But I expect everything to start. Well, it is starting to get moving now, isn't it? The market and all that stuff. So yeah. Like we're still doing 2 sessions a day at the moment, so we've taken the squad to this morning, and then while I was a bit late in here today, the guys who are not in the squad, albeit it's not a big group, it's getting a bit smaller now, but yeah, it needs to happen, and I'm sure it will over the next few days and definitely the next week or so.
In terms of receiving huge fees for some of these players, Livramento, Lavia, or Ward-Prowse as well, does it give you the opportunity and give Jason the opportunity to say to certain players who might have a Premier League market, actually, no, you're going to have to stay here this season and help us?
I hope so. Yeah. I also hope that some of the players are really enjoying themselves and not in such a rush to leave. So yeah, that's all I can control. The rest is not really in my control. All I control is how they feel about the work we do, how they feel about working with us, how they feel about their performance when they step over the white line, and hopefully some of them are enjoying it. So they're in less of a rush to leave. But yeah, I think the club has obviously, I said to you before, recruited really positively in certain aspects, and which is the young players that we have and the asset they create, the financial value they have, and how well they've done. So the model is good. They need to be helped with people that have been here and been in the division for sure this season. And I think they're the ones we really need to try and keep hold of now, as the guys that know what it takes and have been in this league or the one above. So yeah, we'll see. I think what it does do, it puts way less pressure on everyone to sell, and the club's been so strong. The ownership group, Jason, been so strong with the fees and valuations and what they expect to get from someone, and I think it's really helped.
What's the message from you to your players when someone like James Ward-Prowse leaves the club after 20 years? A lot of them have played with him for a long time. How do you replace him as a person rather than just a footballer?
Well, I said to the players this morning, I said, listen, Prowse is likely to. He's not here today. Everyone knows why. But if anyone's ever in this situation, or you ever fortunate enough to spend a bit of time at a club, then at one club, then you just need to look no further really than James. So just the way he conducts himself, the way he's conducted himself in the last 6-7 weeks, incredible. You just never know there was a noise going on around. You just wouldn't. It just hasn't affected him one bit. Just been immense. And then after that, I told the guys Jack would be the captain, the club captain now, Jack Stevens. They applauded him. They're happy for him. I think Prowse would tell me that was the right choice as well. I'm pretty sure. Well, I asked him and he agreed. So yeah, it was a nice meeting to draw the line. I'm sure everyone would have spoke to Prowse or sent him a message at some point, or they'll wait for it to go through if it does, because football is crazy, right? So yeah, I think it's just been a brilliant example for everyone. And now it's Jack's turn to lead, which he does anyway. He's a real leader, and now it's his turn. And the reason he is a leader, and the reason we chose him, is because he has the two most important things you could ever have as a leader: is authenticity. He's really himself in all situations, and he has courage. He's really brave. And for me, like if I was following anyone, I'd want him to have them two things, and he's got both of them.
I know I ask you this every week, but I just wonder if there's any updates on Caldi and Suleiman and Alvaro Koch. Are they any closer to being available for selection?
So Armel has trained for a week fully. He's in a good place, but he's unwell, so he missed training today. He's ill. There's been a bit of a bug going around and all that stuff. So He's not well, but he still needs a week or two of training really to really be in any consideration for any minutes. He hasn't played at all, so we'll look to try and arrange a game for him, or to put him into a 21s game and get some minutes at some point very soon. With regard to his situation, I don't know what's going on. There's no news on that really. It is what it is. I'm sure he has interest. Well, I know he has interest, but I don't know how concrete that is, and we haven't, like, it's not been formalised or whatever. So, and Kamaldeen's, it was a muscle injury, so it takes a bit of time. So he's getting treatment. He's working hard. He's gone away to get some specialist treatment the last few days, because it's a busy dressing room, busy physio room, and having to prioritise performance. And so it was agreed that he would go and do that, and he's happy with that, giving him a little break from the place, and he'll come back with renewed vigour and energy next week at some point. But the situation is still the same. He's our player. We need to try and get him fit as quickly as we possibly can to try and help us on the pitch. If that changes in the meantime...
Could you try again?
Sorry. We're trying. And in the meantime, yeah, it is what it is. They're the situations.
Just finally for me, you mentioned the 21s, their season starting obviously on Sunday at Newcastle. I think I'm just trying to wrap my brains, but Dom, Tyler, Jaden and Cammy were with you on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Do
you want to see them play with the 21s this season, therefore still be an option for you? Or would you like them to go out and maybe get some Football League experience they could?
So I think, like, whenever you're sending someone on loan, it needs to be it needs to be of value. So it's not like you send loads of players. So the business model here is not, you need to send loads of players out on loan to get money back in, like it is at some clubs, like to earn as much money as you can from the academy or whatever. Here is about what's the fastest way to get them into the first team, or to consider them as first team players. So they've really shown themselves in a really brilliant light in pre-season with us, so we like all of them. They're all very at different stages of their development. But I also think they need to be here and learn a new style of play, a new way of doing things. There'll be some new 21s coaches coming in very soon. So, and then to train with us and being around us as much as they possibly can, really. So would it benefit Jaden to send him to League Two and play, because being a defender is very different to being an attacking player. So maybe Tyler can go and be an impact sub somewhere and then put himself in the team, but there's also no guarantees of that. So yeah, everyone is different. We'll take each situation as it comes, really. But at the minute, I don't think there's any real plans that we need to get them out on loan and play football and all that stuff. I think it'd be really important for them for the next few months to be here as part of the development, unless a loan comes up that suits us because a club plays in a similar way. The guy's going to play a lot of minutes, and it's somewhere we can keep real close eyes on him, and maybe someone we have a connection with, and so we just have to wait and see, really. But the plan is probably for them to be here, to train with us as much as they possibly can, to play with the 21s, and put themselves in the best possible place for January, either here or maybe then somewhere else.